They didn't bomb the missiles, they collapsed the mountain. While North Korea spent 7 years hollowing out granite peaks to hide their most advanced ICBM production line, the U.S. waited for one specific moment. The facility, fully operational, completely stocked, and impossibly deep. Then, they struck not with explosives, but with physics. What followed wasn't an airstrike. It was a geological event that turned a $5 billion underground fortress into its own tomb, erasing a decade of weapons development in 90 seconds. At 2:17 a.m. local time, the Gangnam mountain range appeared untouched. No military convoys visible on approach roads. No unusual electromagnetic signatures detected. International observers monitoring the region reported standard winter conditions with surface temperatures at -12 degrees Celsius, but 340 meters below the frozen ridgeline, inside a tunnel network that didn't exist on any official map. The largest covert weapons project in North Korean history had just entered its final production phase. Commercial satellite thermal imaging told a different story. Over the previous 23 days, subsurface heat signatures within a 1.8-kilometer zone had increased by 627%. While external rock faces remained winter cold, infrared analysis identified at least 9 separate thermal zones, maintaining consistent temperatures between 18 and 24 degrees Celsius. The power requirements were staggering. Independent energy analysts estimated the facility was consuming 47 megawatts continuously, equivalent to a city of 80,000 people, all drawn from a hydroelectric system built exclusively to serve this single location. Traffic patterns confirmed the intensity. Between midnight and 5 a.m., when civilian activity across the province dropped to nearly zero, heavy transport movement into the mountain complex increased by 890%. Vehicles weren't making deliveries and leaving. They were entering and staying. Ground-penetrating radar detected 73 large metallic objects positioned in 3 parallel chambers, each separated by reinforced concrete walls exceeding 4 meters in thickness. No training exercise requires that kind of protection. No storage depot needs that much power. Signals intelligence revealed the final indicator. Encrypted burst transmissions from inside the mountain to Pyongyang command centers increased 17-fold in 72 hours. Communication protocols matched known patterns for final systems integration, the last step before operational deployment. Every data point converged on the same conclusion. This wasn't preparation, it was completion. By 3:04 a.m., U.S. intelligence confirmed what the facility actually contained. 73 Hwasong-18 intercontinental ballistic missiles in various stages of final assembly. The most advanced solid-fuel ICBM North Korea had ever produced. Unlike liquid-fueled predecessors requiring hours of preparation, these missiles could launch in under 8 minutes. Each carried a theoretical range exceeding 15,000 kilometers, placing the entire continental United States within strike distance. The estimated cost per unit was $68 million. The facility itself, carved from solid granite over 7 years using mining technology smuggled through shell companies across 5 countries, represented an investment exceeding $5 billion. This wasn't just a production line, it was a strategic gamble. By concentrating their entire next-generation ICBM program in one location, North Korea had violated every principle of distributed redundancy. They made this choice deliberately. The mountain provided what surface facilities never could: absolute protection from conventional airstrikes. Granite density in the Gangnam range exceeded 2.7 grams per cubic centimeter. Standard bunker buster munitions could penetrate 6 meters at most. The deepest chamber sat 340 meters down. From a defensive standpoint, the calculation seemed flawless. To destroy this facility, you would need to remove the entire mountain. And that's exactly what the U.S. decided to do. At 3:51 a.m., mission authorization was confirmed. No bomber formations were scrambled. No carrier groups repositioned. The entire strike package consisted of 2 B-2 Spirit stealth aircraft operating from a classified location more than 6,400 kilometers away. Total crew, 4 pilots. The weapons load was equally minimal. Each aircraft carried a single GBU-57 massive ordnance penetrator, the largest conventional bomb in the U.S. arsenal. The combined cost of both munitions was approximately $7 million. But this wasn't about the bombs. It was about where they would detonate. Standard penetrator doctrine calls for surface impact, followed by delayed detonation to maximize underground damage. That approach wouldn't work here. The facility was too deep, the granite too dense, and the chambers too isolated. A conventional strike would crack surface layers and create localized collapses, but primary production zones would survive. Missiles could be relocated within weeks. The strategic effect would be minimal. U.S. planners identified a different vulnerability. Geological surveys showed the mountain's internal structure wasn't uniform. 7 years of tunneling had removed more than 940,000 cubic meters of granite, creating a massive void network that fundamentally altered the mountain's load-bearing integrity. Computer modeling revealed that the facility's 3 main chambers aligned directly beneath a natural granite formation already under extreme compression stress. If that formation failed, the chambers wouldn't just collapse, they would be crushed under approximately 2.8 million tons of shifting rock. The weapons weren't programmed to destroy the facility. They were programmed to trigger a controlled avalanche inside the mountain itself. At 4:43 a.m., both B-2 aircraft reached release points. Flying at 40,000 feet in total radio silence, they released both penetrators within a 4-second window. Each weapon weighed 13,600 kilograms and fell with terminal velocity exceeding 1,100 kilometers per hour. Guidance systems made final corrections every 0.01 seconds, steering toward GPS coordinates accurate to within 15 centimeters. Impact wasn't synchronized to hit the same point. The weapons were separated by exactly 340 meters, calculated to bracket the critical granite formation from opposite stress vectors. First impact occurred at 4:47:18 a.m. The munition punched through 61 meters of solid granite before the delay fuse activated. Detonation force exceeded 2.4 million pounds of TNT equivalent, but the explosion was entirely subsurface. No fireball reached the surface. Instead, shockwaves propagated through granite at 6,000 meters per second, creating a spherical pressure cavity that lasted 0.003 seconds before collapsing inward. The second impact followed 2.6 seconds later. When the second weapon detonated, it didn't just add force to the first explosion. It created an interference pattern. Shockwaves from both detonations met at the central granite formation with combined energy focused into a cross-sectional area of less than 200 square meters. Pressure exceeded 50,000 pounds per square inch. Granite can withstand approximately 35,000 psi before catastrophic fracture. The formation didn't explode. It shattered. And when it shattered, physics took over. At 4:47:23 a.m., seismic stations across 3 countries detected a 4.1 magnitude event. To observers, it registered as a small earthquake. Inside the mountain, it was structural apocalypse. The central granite column, now fractured into millions of irregular fragments, lost all load-bearing capacity. The weight it had supported for millions of years transferred instantly to adjacent rock layers never designed to carry that stress. Failure propagated in cascade. Support pillars in the upper production chamber buckled first, followed within 0.7 seconds by ceiling collapse across a 400-meter span. 73 missiles, each weighing more than 50 tons, were buried under falling granite, moving at speeds exceeding 40 meters per second. Solid fuel canisters ruptured on impact, but couldn't ignite. There was no oxygen in the collapsing void. The middle chamber collapsed next, followed by the deepest level. In less than 90 seconds, every tunnel, every chamber, every access shaft compressed under millions of tons of cascading granite. Ventilation systems were crushed flat, elevator shafts filled completely, power conduits severed. The facility didn't just stop functioning, it ceased to exist as a physical space. By sunrise, external reconnaissance detected only minimal surface changes. A slight depression appeared near the mountain's north face, approximately 80 meters in diameter and 12 meters deep. No debris field, no visible damage. To anyone observing from satellite imagery alone, it appeared almost untouched. But ground-penetrating radar told the real story. The entire void network had compressed by 73%. Chamber heights that once measured 18 meters now measured less than 5. The granite that had been carried carefully excavated and removed, had been replaced by fragmented rock under compression forces that would require decades to stabilize. Even if North Korea attempted excavation, the collapsed material was now denser than the original mountain. Recovery wasn't just impractical, it was geologically impossible. Post-mission analysis confirmed total loss. 73 Hwasong-18 missiles, representing the entire next-generation ICBM inventory. All precision manufacturing equipment, specialized testing facilities, and component stockpiles. An estimated 340 personnel who were inside during final assembly. The financial cost exceeded $5.3 billion. The strategic cost was incalculable. North Korea had concentrated a decade of weapons development into a single facility designed to be invulnerable. It took 2 bombs and 90 seconds to prove that nowhere is truly safe when physics becomes the weapon. This operation succeeded because it recognized a fundamental truth. The strongest defense can become the most catastrophic weakness. North Korea built a fortress underground to protect their missiles from the sky. But by going deep, they placed everything beneath millions of tons of rock held in place by geology, not engineering. And when that geology was deliberately destabilized, the mountain itself became the weapon. Now I want to hear from you. Was this strike justified as a preemptive measure, or did it cross a dangerous line? And what does it mean when a nation's greatest defense becomes its greatest vulnerability? Drop your thoughts in the comments. And if you want more breakdowns like this, that explain not just what happened, but how it was possible, hit subscribe and stay locked in.